Okay, welcome to my Elite Four video using my Nuzlocke team. I ran into a problem on the Elite Four before, so I scouted ahead to see what everybody had, and I formulated a plan from there. So, Kaiju is really integral to this plan. He's one of my best mons. He's been one of my best mons through the whole game. If I was thinking about switching here, but I decide I'm going to stay in. I'm just going to go for the second brick break. I'll take one Night Slash. It's a crit, which is, a little unfortunate because I wasn't sure if I was going to use him later, but he still has his berry, so I think he'll be okay. Once he gets intimidated, though, I have to switch. Because of the 4x weakness, he's pretty much guaranteed to go for a ground move, so I switch. Get my own intimidate off, which is cool. And then I go into Punisher. So he usually sandstorms on the second turn, but he can also foul play, which does a ton of damage to Salamence, which is the reason I'm not leaving him in. And he is weak to foul play. Punisher is weak to foul play, so he gets a lot of damage off of his counters. After the berry, we're looking like pretty healthy, but I still don't think Punisher is going to get used for much else. In my scout runs, I kind of chewed through this Absol, so I wasn't really sure what to do with him. So when he megas, I decide I'm just going to try to charm him, not knowing that Absol has magic bounce, so that just comes right back on me. And then for some reason, I think I can encore a magic bounce, which I just learned I cannot do. So I go into... I encore myself into encore, so it's just time to switch. I go into Latte because it will take the future sight with no damage, being a dark type. And then he kind of just spends some time whirlwinding, which I guess is... I don't know that move very well, Razor Wind, but he whips up a turn of wind and then attacks. So that lets me set up some nasty plots. I don't know that I necessarily needed to do this because I'll one-shot the Absol once I'm nasty plotted up. I never thought of using special Mandibuzz, but it's actually really good. Tyranitar comes out, and you can see I try a couple of times just to see what kind of damage I can get at plus... I think I'm +4, maybe +6 right now. But it just doesn't touch him at all. It's just chipping. So I get a flinch, which is lucky there. That might have been actually huge luck. Because I don't know if he has any rock-type attacks, and that could have been really bad for me. So I switch. I agree with this switch. And you see... Haxorus, honestly, is the LVP of this run, because he does kill a few things, but he just seems so frail, which I wouldn't think, because I've always thought of Haxorus as like really badass and really good. Earthquake here is pretty convenient, though. Earthquake is just a good move to have in general. It's just really strong. Better in singles than it is in doubles. If you get the crit there, that doesn't matter. And then next is his own Mandibuzz. I'm thinking it can't do too much damage to me. And it does a lot. And then I Dragon Claw, which does not kill. And I let myself go all the way down to 6 HP. That was definitely a roll to kill. So I'm super lucky that it did not. But, that's just Haxorus doing Haxorus stuff. And then we're up to Phoebe. And you can see I just lead Kaiju again. Because he's just so strong. Mimikyu's up first, so I know the first turn nothing's going to happen. I Iron Head. He does a tiny bit of damage. I break the disguise. Now, I should have just Iron Headed again because he's weak to steel. But I decided I wanted to slow him down and then just like two-shot him with Rock Tomb. So... that's what I did, but I probably could have one-shot him with Iron Head if I thought about it. Would have saved me a tiny bit of damage. Now we have a fire type out. We don't want that. So we're going to switch, not for the Intimidate, just for the fire resist in case he went for a fire move. But we have Earthquake on Salamence as well. I just need to hit through this Confusion, which I do. And I can't believe that doesn't one-shot. That's so close. It had to be a roll, and then they full restore. So now I have to hit through Confusion a second time, which I do. And it's still not enough. I'm actually taking kind of a lot of damage, and if I hit myself in Confusion on that turn, I probably would have been in a lot of trouble. Because Salamence's attack is so high, he does so much damage to himself. Now here is the big problem. This Sableye is, spoiler alert, a Mega Sableye. And it's just so bulky. The counter to this is going to be the Nasty Plot Mandibuzz again, because he can't really do a lot of damage, and it lets me set up more Nasty Plots. This is the Pokemon that my previous run actually ended to, because he just keeps full restoring. And I was trying to 1v1 him with a Moongus, and he just kept full restoring over and over and over again. So we get a flinch, and it's a clean 2-shot with Air Slash. So super lucky. And it always seems like there's another Pokemon that Mandibuzz can set up on, which is really convenient. Air Slash gets disabled, which is kind of bad, but Dark Pulse is what I need next anyway, because Aegislash is weak to it. So we one-shot the Gengar, we one-shot the Aegislash, and I think we probably one-shot this Dusclops too. Yep. So +6 Mandibuzz Dark Pulse is super strong, especially against Phoebe. It kind of surprises me they're giving you Mega Crystals for this, because it's like, am I going to really use them this late in the game? I guess maybe post-game you'll use them a little bit, but I was really bummed out because you get the Salamencite or whatever from Drake, and I could not figure out how to actually Mega Evolve in this ROM hack. Ice Shard's nothing. We can Iron Head here. That's 4 times, I think, Ice and Fairy. So that obviously destroys it. Hail is up. I don't know if it uses the new mechanic. I don't think it does, because it's hail, it's not snow. This Mamoswine is also a huge problem, but we switch on the Earthquake and get an Intimidate. I think I might Intimidate him a couple times, actually, which is a shame because he actually has Blizzard, and after you Intimidate him the first time, he's going to see that his attack is lowered, and he's going to switch to special attacks, which kind of sucks. But he will go back to Earthquake once, and this looks like it's going to be enough to kill. Yeah. So that was super lucky. Wobbuffet has also come in super clutch. I would say that Aggron and Wobbuffet and Mandibuzz are probably the best. Ironically, the 2 dragons are a little less useful. Good for pivoting with the Salamence. Mega Glalie, I think that's going to be an Iron Head probably. Or I just Rock Slide. I don't know what the Protect is for, but that's fine. And it doesn't look like he has a lot of good coverage moves for me. Although that did a ton of damage. And 1 Rock Slide is enough. I actually put Automatize on him between fights over Rock Tomb, which was a pretty difficult decision for me. But I thought maybe I would be able to set up some speed boosts and then like one-shot things or just cruise through with Iron Head. So that was what I decided to do. But I think I probably would have been better off just keeping Rock Tomb, honestly. Rock Slide has not missed once in this run so far. All the way up to the Elite Four, as many times as I've used it. I did use Rock Tomb a lot, but Rock Slide has never missed. So pretty crazy. Rock Slide luck continues. And I think this was risky staying in there all the way down to 24 HP. But we do get the kill. And Kaiju is, dominant in the Glacia fight for sure. So next up is Drake. We're kind of cutting through. I really had to develop my plan though, because just kind of winging it with this Elite Four. I think this is one of the rare difficulty spikes in the game. So it was definitely an adjustment. Now, the Dragonite, the best option is Wobbuffet. And then we get into Dragapult. Now, here's the cool thing about Dragapult. He seems to only use Phantom Force, which not only gives me free turns to set up on the turn he disappears, but also does almost no damage to Latte. Once he does that, he starts Dragon Dancing. He gets 2 Dragon Dances off, and then I go for a third Nasty Plot, and then I start Dark Pulsing. So I get him with 1 shot. I think I actually only did 2 Nasty Plots this time and still got the 1 shot. And now it's Dragalge time. So Dark Pulse is still the strongest move. We have to eat a huge Sludge Bomb. We get poisoned. So I was hoping to use Mandibuzz for more in this fight, but the poison is really kind of bad. So it's pretty much done. Now, Hydreigon is pretty tough. Ordinarily, I'd worry about fire moves, but he kind of does the setup thing too. And Brick Break is a 2-shot. And he just wastes his turn. He just works up again, which lets me get the KO. I don't know if he had a fire move, but that could have been pretty bad for me. Garchomp is also a tough one, but Garchomp can be exploited because he uses Sand Tomb. And then I pivot a couple times here because I can take the Dragon Claws, and I can also switch on the Earthquake, I think. Or does he dig? Yeah, he digs. And then I think I go for Dragon Claw as my strongest damaging move. And this is another one of those really unfortunate barely doesn't kills. So I'll pivot again on a full restore. We're just getting the Intimidates down to lower that Dragon Claw damage. Because if we stay in for 2 turns to hit him with Salamence Dragon Claw, he's going to Dragon Claw back on the second turn. Which, as long as we've pivoted enough times, which I'm sorry for the length of this, but you know, I'm trying to play cautiously. And there's really no reason with him only having 1 Pokemon left that I can't chip both of these down a little bit in exchange for being safer with Salamence. Because I'd really like to go into the champion with all of my Pokemon. I chip him because I just want to do enough damage. And you see, we took that Dragon Claw. But if we hadn't intimidated him, we would not have taken that Dragon Claw. So that was pretty good. I forgot about Rough Skin damage, which got a little hairy. But now it's Mega Salamence time. Again, we just keep leaning on the same Pokemon over and over and over again. I'm expecting a Dragon-type attack here, probably a Dragon Claw. But he Zen Headbutts and misses, which is pretty cool. He's Dragon Flying, so he's weak to Rock Slide. Flamethrower does kind of a ton, but I'm thinking I can 2-shot and I'll probably live 1 more Flamethrower. But it turns out that doesn't even happen because he Zen Headbutts, which I resist. So, again, I don't know if this game throws on purpose or if I'm just getting lucky, but that was definitely easier than it could have been. And that's Drake. So the last one up is the champion. And I went back and forth about what to do with this a lot because he has some annoying Pokemon. And he has some that can just straight up one-shot some of mine. So especially the Kingdra can one-shot both of my dragons. And can do pretty good damage to everything, really. The Politoed's gimmick is it just swaggers over and over again, and it also Perish Songs. Hurt myself in Confusion the first turn. Pretty unfortunate. And then it goes for a bounce. I just let it bounce me, and I counter. Which does like respectable damage, but it's gonna be a 3-shot. And he keeps swaggering, so there's this element of randomness. And I'm kind of getting the short end of the stick on this one. He bounces. I think I'll live one more bounce, as long as I don't hit myself in confusion, which is a pretty bold risk to take. Oh, I still have the berry, though. I'll be fine. And he actually comes through with the counter there, which is good. And then the full restores. I hate the items being used. I think switching is probably good, because this could take a while. Salamence is fine, I guess. His attack is already really high, though, and if he... I did use the Lumberry here for that reason, but I think he just swaggers me again anyway. Yeah. So, there's a little randomness that we kind of can't get around, but we do a pretty good job. And then I switch just to not risk hitting myself, and I take a ton of damage from Hyper Voice, but that's fine. We outspeed, we can KO, and I've kind of taken a lot of damage for just... Yeah, I don't know why I left him in for that. That's our first loss in the Elite Four, but it was a big one. Like, I think I sacrificed him on purpose just to get Wobbuffet in, because there's no way he was going to outspeed, there's no way he was going to live it, and I don't know that he had enough health to be useful for anything else anyway, so I think I did that intentionally. You can swing the tempo in your favor with a sacrifice sometimes. That's a little more damage than I would like. Can't use Punisher anymore unless I want to sacrifice him, which I don't think is necessary. Kaiju coming in clutch again for a switch. And I guess I go with neutral Rock Slide just to see how much damage it is. And then I go for Iron Head, which is not very effective because he's a water type, and I guess I wasn't thinking. But he switches into Swampert, which does fine on the Iron Head, but now I know I need to go into something else because I'm expecting a ground type move. Get an Intimidate, which is pretty good, and he uses Muddy Water. So I could stay in with Salamence here, but I think the safer play is to go into Mushman. Oh, I don't go into Mushman. Okay, I stand corrected. I'm not going to Nasty Plot on this guy, am I? No, I just Dark Pulse. I haven't watched this part of the video again yet, so it's been about a week since I played. Then this is what I expected to see earlier, switching in. Earthquake is neutral, it does ton of damage, but a 4x weakness lets me heal up. Almost back to full. Mushman has not done a lot in these fights yet. He hasn't been used at all. But I did know that a grass type would be good, and I knew that the Synthesis combo would be really good. We Giga Drain again. I heal a lot off of it, but I think I'm dead to another, so I switch back to Kaiju again on an extra sensory, which does a little bit. After the berry, I should be looking pretty good, though. Over half. No reason not to Rock Slide. I'm not even sure what type Greninja is, whether I was not sure at the time. Now that's the first miss at the champion fight of the whole game with Rock Slide. So pretty good luck there until that one, which was a pretty critical miss too, because I had to take a whole other attack for that reason. Now, Ludicolo. I sacrifice? Yeah. I sacrifice, because I don't know what to go into, and I can't take too many attacks here. He just astonishes, which does, like, no damage. I'm sure he has a more damaging move than that. But, you know, this game kind of throws sometimes, so... We go for... Oh, okay. I Nasty Plot because I know he's going to full restore. If I was bold, I'd go for another Nasty Plot, but I don't think I need to. Where's the Hydro Pump? Where's the Giga Drain? I guess he can't Giga Drain. But this is just the full restores. All the full restores basically got saved for this Pokemon, which is a little ironic. But, we finally get the roll. and it's just the Dracovish left. So we can Dark Pulse this, and that should be enough. And there we go. The champion is put away. So that was my Elite Four. It took a lot of planning. It took a lot of, experimentation and to actually scout it out and see how to beat it. But all in all, 2 deaths for the Elite Four. I was pretty proud of how I played. I thought I did good strategies, and I had a ton of fun with this run. So speaking a little bit about my experience with Quetzal overall, I think that it's an unbalanced game. Because some of the fights, some of the gym leaders even in my last video, if you go back and watch that, were so easy. They were just complete pushovers. And then some fights stand out as being so incredibly difficult that it took a lot of careful play and planning to beat. And you really don't know when one's coming up until it does. That's why my first run lost to May, because it was just such a difficulty spike to meet May outside of the Weather Institute, and I wasn't expecting it. So I played a little bit of this game up to the first gym on hard mode, and the Aerodactyl had Thunder Fang and Earthquake and Crunch. It was out of this world hard. So I don't know if Nuzlocking it on hard mode is even reasonable, but let me know in the comments if that's what you want to see. I was super happy with this team. Mushman got a couple of KOs in there, and Haxorus, I'm sorry, you kind of suck. So if you enjoyed watching, leave a comment, hit like, and subscribe, because I'll be doing more Nuzlocke content in the future. Thanks for watching.